What's Swanmok? The Garden of Liberation is a temple in southern Thailand, Surat Thani province of Thailand. What Swanmok? The temple of the Garden of Liberation. You don't need to write that down. And for the first 10 days of every month, it has a 10-day silent meditation retreat. So you arrive on the last day of the month. You don't need to book. You arrive on the last day of the month before, and then you get settled in to your room with the wooden bed and the wooden pillow. And then the bell goes at 4 o'clock in the morning, and you get up, and there's a big cement trough of cold water, and you're each given a ladle, scooper thing. It's like a Nagelwasser but bigger and only one thing. And you cold water on your head. And then you go to the temple area and we do some exercise, Tai Chi or yoga or whatever it was. And then we spend all day doing Anapanasati. Ana means breathing in, Pana means breathing out, Sati means consciously breathing in and out. About 10:30 or 11 o'clock in the morning, you have your only meal of the day. Rice, vegetables.
1 meal per day?
1 meal a day. 6 p.m, a cup of warm soya milk. Disgusting. And then about 9 o'clock, go to bed. No electricity, so you're not reading in your room. No phone, so you can't get your torch to read in your room. Nothing to read. And then you do the same thing every day. And that was for 10 days. The monks who live on the other side of the street, not in the meditation retreat center for tourists, they've been doing this for 50 years, 60 years. Just getting up before sunrise, washing, meditating, sweeping the floor. There's lots of sweeping. They sweep it up. And meditating all day. Every single day. Very, 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 very peaceful and blissful. Sunrise, sunset, sweeping, breathing. Amazing.
Do they know something about the world? How they develop?
They don't need to know. What do you need to know about the world?
What's going on?
Why do you need to know what's going on?
I need to know it. I don't know.
There you go. So I've got an answer to the question, why do you need to know what's going on? Because we have a responsibility to make sure the world is functioning in a healthy and spiritual way.
For true?
Yes.
Okay.
But for a Buddhist monk in a temple, that's distracting.
What purpose of their life?
The purpose is to reach enlightenment, which doesn't involve knowing what's going on in the world. Enlightenment involves meditating until you reach a state of nibbana, of extinguishing your ego, basically. And then you're free from the cycle of birth, death and rebirth.
So once you achieve moksha and you're a jivan mukta...
Well, that's Hinduism, but yes. Buddhism is not moksha, it's nibbana, and you don't become a jivan. But some people would say, well, you have to come back then and help others reach enlightenment. That's a good thing. Oh, Yaakov Abraham. So basically, these guys are consistent. Immense consistency. This is my avoda, this is my spiritual work, and I'm just completely involved and engaged and committed and devoted and consistently doing it, same every day. Alarm goes, get out of bed, water, bit of exercise, meditate, eat at 10:30, go, soya milk at 6 o'clock, just go. Why would it not be that way? Because once you've found the path, you're just going to commit to just doing it again and again and again Not only Buddhist monk, but someone who wants to win the gold medal in the Olympic Games. He finds out what's the avoda and he just does it. Again and again. Consistency. Yes.
So I guess my question was, like, once they reach enlightenment, like, what's next? Like, they do all this to reach enlightenment. Like, what happens once they do
That's it. It's the end of the game. You lose that you have para mahanibana when you leave the body, and then you don't come back, and that's it. End. Because they don't believe in neshama, they don't believe in soul. So it gets very complicated at that point. Depends what type of Buddhism, Mahayana Buddhism, and Theravada Buddhism, and Zen Buddhism. There are many different types of Buddhism. But in general, the aim is to disappear. And once you disappeared, you disappeared. That's great. And then once you've disappeared, you don't have to suffer anymore, because there's no you to suffer. So once you get rid of the ignorance of sense of self, then there is no self, so there is no suffering. Excellent. We're the opposite of that. We say once you tap into your real self, which is neshama, which is an aspect of divine consciousness, then there's no suffering, because souls don't suffer. Right. Anyway, Ha'echad Esrim, Echad ve'Esrim, the 21st Cheshbon Hanefesh. The 21st thing that you need to consider, Ma sheyesh b'yechalto m'maaseh ha'avoda, what you can achieve in your avoda. We have avoda. By the way, Judaism, your whole day is avoda. We get up, there's something you're meant to say, the first thing you'd say when you get up, Maide ani lefanecha. That's the beginning of the day. Starting your day, Made ani means gratitude, I'm grateful. But it also means Made ani, I acknowledge myself. Made ani, I acknowledge myself. There is a self, it's the opposite of Buddhism. Made ani, there's a me, there's a yesh. There's a self, there's a soul, there's an aspect of divine consciousness. Lefanecha, in front of you, Hashem. It's amazing. The first 3 words of your day, if you get them right, you just have the best day of your life. That would be it. If you could say Made ani lefanecha, how you're meant to say it, that's it, you're enlightened. I acknowledge pure soul in front of divine infinite consciousness. That's awesome. And then you know what we do? We wash our hands. For many people, before they even get out of bed, in a bucket next to the bed, wash, right, left, right, left, right, left. Chesed, gevura, chesed, gevura, chesed, gevura. Maybe an extra one, chesed, gevura. And then we go to the bathroom, and then we say blessings. We've got a set amount of blessings that we're meant to say then. Netilat yadayim, asher yatsa, elokai neshama, blessings of the Torah. And then we go from there into prayer, tefillah, tefillin. Oh my goodness, tefillin. How was your tefillin this morning? Did you find it hard to fall asleep last night because you were so excited about waking up to put on your tefillin? You're like, I just can't, I can't fall asleep. Are you that excited about your tefillin? I want it. Rav Levi Yitzhak of Bedichev, I was born on his yahrzeit. He was so excited to shake the lulav and etrog on the first day of Sukkot. And you're like, I just got to do this mitzvah, because what are mitzvahs? Mitzvahs are connecting you to divine consciousness. Divine infinite consciousness, that's what a mitzvah is connecting individual finite consciousness with divine infinite consciousness. That's what a mitzvah does. He was so excited, he could hardly sleep. In the morning he went, his lulav and etrog were there, he grabbed them, went into the sukkah and he shook them like, Baruch atah Hashem l'shem yichud. He obviously went to the mikveh first, and he was like, started learning and everything, and he started shaking, killing his Yetzer Hara, like Yud and Hey and Vav and Hey, all the 4 different parts of the Dalit Minim. And he finishes, he looks down, and he's got blood all over him. Just bleeding. And he just can't work out what's going on. He's like, I just don't get it. Goes back inside, goes to put his lulav and etrog back. He worked out what had happened. His lulav and etrog were in a cabinet. He'd put it in there behind glass. And he'd been so excited to shake it, he just didn't see that. He just like smashed the glass, cut up his arm. Now, I'm not suggesting you do that. But he goes on to say, Largilba, how regular are you consistent? The Buddhist monks, they're consistent. The social entrepreneur, he's consistent. The person who wants to lose weight, they're consistent. Once you have locked on, then you're consistent. Okay, I'm going to do this again and again and again and again. I'm going to do it. I'm just going to keep going, consistent. I'm going to show up all the time. You want that job, you're going to show up all the time. You want to get a pay rise, you're going to be there every day and at the right time. We're going to get consistency. And you're just doing it all the time. And you should run to do it. So excited. Mincha. You love mincha? You love mincha? You just want to go and stand in front of God. Or is it like, no, it's another thing I now have to do? Because there's something to be lahargil, to become regular, to become a habit. Remember, we've said this a few times. You have to do good things as a habit. You've got to get in the habit of doing good things, but don't do them habitually. Of course I'm going to daven shachris mincha ma'ariv with a minyan. Of course I'm going to say a bracha before it. So you get in good habits. I got a good habit that whenever I wake up I say Madei ani lefanech and I wash my hands. That is a good habit. But I'm not doing it habitually, which means subconsciously. I'm doing it very consciously and awarely. I know why I'm doing this habit. Every time I say I love you to my wife, I've got into a habit of saying I love you to my wife, but not habitually, hopefully. Got to work on that as well. It's very hard to keep going. You got in the habit of putting your right shoe first and then your left shoe. You're meant to put your right shoe first and then your left shoe, because right represents chesed, loving kindness, and left represents gevura, boundaries. You have to have both. But you have to put them on consciously. Get in good habits, don't do them habitually. So how are you going to do this? You've got to work out the great opportunity every mitzvah is. It's an immense opportunity. When we did the brachas class, we wrote at least 8 different reasons why you make a blessing before you eat. Gratitude, God consciousness, self-control, mindfulness, spiritualize the physical, uplift the food, self-control. We got a load just by saying Baruch Atah Hashem Elokeinu Melech Haolam Borei Pri Ha'etz. You tap into the whole purpose of life. So if you do it with kavana, what am I actually saying? Why am I saying it? Who am I actually saying it to? How big a part of your life is actual God? Not Judaism. Forget about Judaism. Don't forget about Judaism. But forget about Judaism. Judaism is the path to God. But if you're doing Judaism and it's not leading you to God, it doesn't mean there's a problem with Judaism. It means that we haven't worked out how to do it properly. And if you think you have God without Judaism, that's beautiful, actually. And there is definitely some feeling there. But God says the path to real connection with neshama and God and soul is Judaism. It's like I used to say, I'm spiritual, not religious. I'm spiritual, not religious. I meditate, I'm connected to Hashem, I'm spiritual, not religious. But once you understand that the religion is the path to true spirituality, your neshama needs Shabbos. If you're not keeping Shabbos, you might have a wonderful walk in the mountains on a Saturday, but if you're breaking Shabbos, there is definitely some aspect of spirituality there. You're connected to Hashem, but Hashem says, I didn't want you to have your phone with you. You can go on a walk, but you didn't need your phone. Whatever. So do you know what a mitzvah is? My Rebbe, Rav Chaimowitz, said that what happens is, when you're about to do a mitzvah, everyone in Shemaim is watching you. Hashem, there's basically a spotlight on you. And Hashem and the Baal Shem Tov and Rav Moshe Feinstein and the Chavetz Chaim and the Rambam, everyone's what? They're like, the Jew's about to do a mitzvah. You're about to get your thing. Everyone's like very excited. It's like I remember, what's my example? The golf. You got Tiger Woods. It's the 18th hole. He come from 9 shots behind. Everyone's like, let's go. So everyone's watching. You got the whole crowd, the whole bleachers. Everyone's watching. Everyone's silent. You got millions of people all around the world watching. It's like, can he hit the little white ball into the hole? So it's like, he's going to hit that little white ball into the hole. It's so significant. So everyone's like, can he do it? And silence. There's silence. People aren't even checking their phone. Everyone's just like, will he hit the little white ball into the hole? So he's like, boop. And it's like rolling, rolling, and everyone's like, don't breathe. And then, and his teeters on the edge of the hole. Pulls it out, yeah! He's on his knees, Tiger's on his knees, yes! I did it! Everyone in the stand, he's done it! He hit the little white ball into the hole! He did it! Yes! At the last second of the Super Bowl, someone throws it, it's like, slow motion, he's like, I caught the ball! He caught the ball! Yes! Do you feel like that when you put on your tefillin? Being serious, because that's what's happening. You're there, you're about to put on your tefillin, and everyone's watching. Everyone, your ancestors, your grandfather, your people who died in the Holocaust who were praying for you to come on the derech. Lots of you are sitting here now because you have some great grandparents who are up in Shemayim praying for you, like, oh, please help my boy come back. And like, so they're out there, so everyone's watching you, and it's like, can you do it? Dov Ber's about to do it. Baruch Ato Hashem. By the way, once you tighten that tefillin, you've done the mitzvah. That's the point of connection. It's like sticking your finger in a plug socket. You stick your finger. So once you've done your mitzvah, the mitzvah means a connection point. You've done the mitzvah. Bam! And everyone's cheering. The Baal Shem Tov, he's like, he's done it! Yeah! Or high fives in Shemayim, the Baal Shem Tov and the building are going, they're like, yeah, he's done it! Everyone's going, yeah! Or the angels, Gabriel, Michael, everyone's going, he's done it! And then bam, 7. Chesed, Gevura, Tiferet, Netzach, Atem, Hadveikim, B'Hashem, Elokeichem, Chaim, Kulchem, Hayom. Those of you who have a real connection to God, you're really called alive today. And then you got your head to fill. Shin, Daled, Yud, the name of God is written in your body. Is that how you put on tefillin? That's how you should be putting on tefillin. That's what it is. That is what it is. But people get more excited by a little white ball going bloop, 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 bloop. Most insignificant thing in the world. Everyone's like, oh, and you just won $10 billion. You just won Olam Haba. You just won connection to your neshama. You just won everything. Yes.
Well, like the Masters happens like once a year. So it's like I get that feeling like on like Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. But like it's very difficult. Like if we were watching the Masters and the Super Bowl every single day, it's very difficult to get as excited about those things.
Okay, so you got a different question. How do you keep up the excitement when you do it regularly? Very good. Do you know how often I tell my daughter how much I love her?
Every day.
More than once.
Times, yeah.
And did I get bored of it at some point? Well, I did it yesterday. I told her I love her yesterday. You don't get bored of it because once you understand what it is, connection with your daughter, once you actually love your daughter and you know saying I love you to your daughter is a full expression of your heart and creates this immense deep connection, and her little eyes are like, love you, Abba. Every morning when my children walk down the stairs, I'm like, Binyamin, you know how good my kids must feel? Every single morning, every single time they come home from school and they see that Abba, and Abba's like as if it's the greatest person in the world just walked into the room. Now, am I pretending just to make them feel good? No, because Binyamin, just love that boy. Just love him. So once you love Hashem and once you love tefillin, it just doesn't get old. But you're right, it's hard. It's hard, but it doesn't get old. But it means you have to take time. If you're rushing and they're already in Pesukei Zimra and you're like, okay, I just get it. It should take at least 5 minutes to put on tefillin. And 5 minutes, that's not a long time. Take 5 minutes, sit down for a minute beforehand and just breathe. What am I about to do? I'm about to strap up, baby. I'm strapping myself up. I'm tying myself to God. That's crazy. Like we've been doing for 3,300 years at least. My grandfather, and obviously recently there might be a gap in the chain for the last few generations, maybe in your family, but not more than 5 generations. Your great-great-great-great-grandfather was definitely putting on tefillin, no doubt. So maybe it got broken at some point, but you're coming back, you're putting on tefillin. For all of them, you're uplifting them all. Those ones who weren't putting them on and have passed away now, they realize, and they're praying for you extra, so you're actually helping them. You're helping everyone because you're coming back, you're bringing it back. So basically, number 21 is considering and taking a personal accounting of it says here, your capacity for religious action. How much are you yearning for mitzvahs? How much are you investing in mitzvahs? How consistent are you in your mitzvahs? Yeah, how much are you growing in them? And then very quickly, he then goes on to say a whole thing about we can't reach the highest levels of spirituality. Hashem has to give it to us. But we have to create a vessel in order to receive it. So if we be consistent, even if we're not feeling it, by the way. This is actually a very good point. Let's say I'm just not feeling it. Does that mean you stop doing it? Absolutely not. You keep doing it because it's what you need, it's what your soul needs. So I'm going to put on my tefillin even though I'm not freaking out every time I put on my tefillin. I'm going to put on tefillin every single day. Do it. Just keep in the game. It's keeping you in the game. Stay in the game, until one day you will hopefully open up again. I had a very hard time for over a year now. I felt a little bit disconnected with my father passing away, and I felt a bit disconnected from Hashem. And with October the 7th, and I feel a lot of pain for the Jewish people, and I have questions on Hashem. Not questions, is it true, but why is Hashem letting there be so much suffering? That's an issue for me. But I'm still getting up every morning and davening and putting on my tefillin and doing everything I know to do. Not out of resentment, by the way, just out of, I know it's true. Even though I'm not feeling it, I know that this is a path, and I'm just going to keep hacking away at it then. I'm just going to keep going. That's called consistency, even when it's difficult. So even though I have difficulty with how Hashem is running the world at the moment, with the hostages and things like that, I don't have any doubt that God is real and loving and true and Torah is true. Why don't I have any doubt? Because I have evidence. There's evidence. Oh, we're doing Discovery this week for anyone who hasn't done it. But I have evidence. I know there's an infinite divine conscious being who loves the Jewish people and wrote the Torah. I know that for sure. The way he's running the world at the moment doesn't seem to suggest that. It's painful for me to see what's going on in the world. However, it doesn't mean it's not true. So I'm just going to keep going. Shachris mincha ma'ariv. Do my best. Try really hard. Even if I'm not feeling mincha, I'm going to turn up for my mincha and I'm going to talk to Hashem in the middle of my mincha and say, Hashem, I'm not feeling my mincha. I'm just not feeling it, feeling a bit upset. And Hashem says, that's okay, Dov Ber, I get it, It's hard. But thank you for turning up. So just turn up. Just keep turning up. Now, that shouldn't be for the rest of your life. Your Judaism shouldn't be, well, I know it's true, so I better keep turning up. But there are periods to just stay in the game. Just keep yourself in the game. Keep moving forward. And then to work on meditation and things in order to connect to Hashem in a real way. So this is this one. Am I deeply committed? Very quickly, shetavin ki rov ha'inyan ha'mechuvan b'mitzvah shehem hagufim uve'evarim, because most of the idea of what the mitzvahs that we do with our body are hu l'ha'ir ala mitzvot asher tiyena belevavot u'mitzpunim. The only real purpose of mezuzahs and tefillin and mitzvahs we do with our body is to arouse our hearts and arouse our spirituality. And we said this by the korbanot, the sacrifices. Hashem says, I don't want sacrifices. I don't want them, they're stinky. If you're just giving them to me because you feel you have to and you have no heart in yourself, I don't want that. I don't need you to kill animals, I don't need that. It's all about the heart. So your next thing in this is how much your heart is into it. Is your heart in your mitzvahs? Are you committed? Consistent? Committed and consistent in your mitzvahs. Number 21. Shabbos.